Salute, salute. What's good, man? Welcome to another episode of the King Ray Ray Show. Y'all put a one in the chat if you can hear me loud and clear, man. If you can hear me loud and clear. Not just hear me, but hear me loud and clear. Y'all stick a one in the chat for me, man. Let's get ready to make this thing happen. I appreciate everybody being in the joint, man. We got another phenomenal show lined up for today where we will discuss something that any man who is on the mission to become the best version of himself has had to overcome this particular issue. And that is what we will talk about today. GLG on deck as usual. Let me tell y'all something, brothers. I may not have the most supporters, but man, do I have some loyal supporters, brothers. I'm talking about many brothers that have been supporting for years, growing with me for years, allowing me to grow with them for years. It's a phenomenal thing, man. It's a phenomenal thing. I'll tell you what, I'd rather have a small, very effective army than a large army of selfish buffoons who are all thinking about their own selfish outcomes. So I'll take my small army of kings in the kingdom of Ray over just about any other army in the world. Because let's not forget, we also have the Alphasphere backing us as well. So we'll be good, man. So look, if you want to be a part of this live chat, man, go to the main channel page. Next to the subscribe button, you'll see a join button. Click that join button. It'll take you into a kiosk. You go in there, become a member. Come on back over here, man, to the live chat because we will be here. Famo, salute, man. I see you in the building. Salute to you, man. Money boys, what's good? What's good, man? Logic before emotion. Salute. Appreciate you being in the joint. Royalty, good to see you in the joint for sure, man. I appreciate it. Markel, what's good, young homie, man? Had a good chop up with Markel the other day, man. Listen, young homie got his head on straight, man, and he want me to let y'all know, man, that he appreciates y'all embracing him, into the kingdom. Markel is just 22, man, so he wants to he let me know, man, that he wants y'all to know, man, that he appreciates y'all embracing him into the kingdom and embracing him into the Alphasphere the way y'all have, man. And it's a phenomenal thing, man. That little brother, he on his way. That young brother is on his way. Keep it retro. What's good with you, homie? Good to see you in the joint, man. I saw my brother, Dr. Noble J. Bay, up in here earlier, man. Salute to you. I saw love by many, hated by few in here as well. Oh, I saw Codeine up in here too, man. What up, man? I see you brothers in here. JK all day. I see you in the building, brother. Salute. So let's get into it, man. At this time in this particular society, we hear a lot of men, women, people chasing everything, chasing money, doing unscrupulous things to get it, chasing pleasure, doing unscrupulous things to get it. Chasing status, doing abominable things to get it. We don't even hear the word morality spoken anymore in this society. When it is spoken, people shun it. People frown on it. People say that having a moral compass, having a high moral fiber, is the wrong thing to do. They say you can't be successful and be moral at the same time. They say you can't be popular for having a moral compass. They say you can't be respected if you carry yourself with a high sense of morality and you're set on resisting temptation. You're no fun. You'll never be the life of the party. You'll never have all these multiple intimate partners at the same time. You'll never be able to buy the most expensive car, the most expensive house, the most expensive jewelry, the most expensive clothes. But you know what? None of those things matter to those of us who have decided that we're going to live a life that's pleasing to God. So today we'll discuss embracing the moral compass of resisting temptation. if you don't buy into, not just buy into, but embrace the need to have a moral compass, high moral fiber, then you'll never be able to resist temptations. Your life will be a dizzy, drunken dance between temptation and the consequences of not resisting that temptation. Men say, man, you do this, man. The women are like this all over the world. Yeah, they're like that for you all over the world because of the type of man you are. If you want better results than you've been getting, you got to be a better man than you've been. If you want different results than you've been getting, you got to be a different man than you've been. If you want blessed results, then you got to be a man who embraces the moral compass of resisting temptation. So today's word comes to us from the book of Leviticus, chapter 20. And we'll start at chapter 19. Because we want to add a couple of things in that kind of seem like they should have been in chapter 20 to me, but I ain't going to move them. You know, Most High say, don't change the word, don't alter them. So chapter 19, verse 26. Ye shall not eat anything with the blood, neither shall you use enchantment, nor observe times. Observing times is astrology. That's why when people ask me, what's your zodiac sign? I ain't got one. When your birthday? I don't know you like that. Woman tell me, well, I got to know if we're a good match. If a woman tell me she's into astrology, man, and she's trying to see if she's a good match for me based on that, I'm out. Don't eat anything with the blood. What does that mean? If you're going to eat some meat, boy, you better eat it well done. On the rare occasion, maybe once or twice a year, when I do fancy myself a nice, tender filet mignon, oh, you better believe that boy won't even have no pink in the middle. There's only one place I go. It's in Miami. So that once or twice a year, I'll be in Miami for a couple of days, maybe a week. And I'll be there to have my filet mignon at that same spot, by the same chef, at the same table, with the same server, with the same sides, with the same view out into the water. Verse 27, ye shall not round the corners of your heads, neither shalt thou mar the corners of thy beard. Do you know what round the corners of your head are? That old line up y'all be getting, that push thing right there. That old line up, that old round line up right there. That old line up right there. See, now that's for us as adults. But for the babies, when babies are young, their heads are soft. Back in the day, the mothers used to shape the baby head. When midwives delivered, the mothers would shape the baby's heads. Now, they just throw the baby in the bed, let him lay in there. Baby head come out with all kind of shapes to it. You shall not round the corners of your head. Neither shalt thou mar the corners of thy beards. Meaning what? Meaning that boy don't hang and tang on the end like BOA right there. You see, I may take this off, but this right here, it ain't going nowhere. And I only take this off when I mess it up. But that bottom side right there, hey boy, look, that boy got to come out by mistake. Do not prostitute thy daughter to cause her to be a whore, lest the land fall to whoredom, and the land become full of wickedness. What does that mean? If your daughter is not being married off and you allow her to date some dude who's just about to take her on a date, which costs money, maybe buy her a gift, which costs money, maybe that's what you're doing. Your daughter is supposed to be handed off to her husband. There's not supposed to be this dating thing and go out here and have some experience and do all of these things. That is one of the main reasons why this society is in the shape that it's in. That is one of the main reasons why the family unit doesn't work. That is one of the main reasons why relationships fail. That is one of the main reasons why the divorce rate is so high. That is one of the main reasons why the incidence of single parenthood is so high. Because everybody starts off already living the life that they shouldn't be living. You got to go out there and date a while. No, you don't know what you like until it ain't about what you like. It's about what you're supposed to do. God has a way for you to live. You don't know what you like, man. You can have 50 relationships and still not know what you like. You'll never know everything you like. Ye shall keep my Sabbaths and reverence my sanctuary. I am the Lord. Regard not them that have familiar spirits, neither seek after wizards to be defiled by them. I am the Lord your God. That's why all that craft and all that sorcery and all that voodoo, hey man, listen, I ain't messing with nobody who into that craft and into all that sorcery and all that. So if you think these things ain't real, man, listen, you ain't spent enough time down in the dirty South. You don't know enough people in the Caribbean. You ain't got no heritage in the Caribbean. You don't know enough people in Africa and the motherland. You ain't from the motherland. If you from it, then you know it. Thou shalt rise up before the hoary head and honor the face of the old man and fear thy God. I am the Lord. Look at the society we live in. The hoary head is the gray head. Thou shalt rise up before the hoary head and honor the face of the old man. But these people think that you're supposed to try to impress the young men. But let me tell you something. When I was growing up, the best thing that could ever happen to you is for a grown man to show you some respect for anything. Because you know you have earned that respect. You know you have earned it. If a stranger sojourn with you in your land, ye shall not vex him. But the stranger that dwelleth with you shall be unto you as one born among you, and thou shalt love him as thyself, for ye were strangers in the land of Egypt. I am the Lord your God. Now, that is the scripture right there that kind of embodies that is like one of the angles the church used to say, okay, we're all God's chosen people. No, you got to live like this. You can't live like that. You got to live by these statutes and commandments. You got to live by this. And let me tell y'all something. Rest means rest. You know, you got the Seventh-day Adventists, they go to church on Saturday. That ain't honoring the Sabbath. The Sabbath is rest. That means you sit yourself down somewhere. You don't do nothing. You got to drive 30, 40, 45 minutes to go somewhere. You think you honoring the Sabbath? You're not. You're not. You're supposed to be resting. Resting means sitting down somewhere, take a load off, man. It don't mean going to, man, come on, like driving in a job. All right, now. Ye shall do no unrighteousness in judgment, in meter yard, in weight, or in measures. Just balances, just weights, as a just ephah, and a just hin shall ye have. I am the Lord your God, which brought you out of the land of Egypt. Therefore shall you observe all my statutes and all my judgments, and do them. I am the Lord. Now, let's get into chapter 20. And the Lord spake unto Moses, saying, again, thou shalt say to the children of Israel, whosoever he be of the children of Israel, or of the strangers that sojourn in Israel, that giveth any of his seed to Molech, he shall surely be put to death. The people of the land shall stone him with stones. And I will set my face against that man, and will cut him off from among his people, because he hath given his seed unto Molech to defile my sanctuary, and to profane my holy name. And if the people of the land do anyway hide their eyes from the man, when he giveth his seed unto Molech, and kill him not, then I will set my face against that man, and against his family, and will cut him off, and all that go a whoring after him, to commit whoredom with Molech from among their people. Let me tell y'all something, man. Y'all think God be playing. These people think God be playing, man, about worshiping these idol gods, man. I'm telling you that listen, this is not a game, man. I try to tell people all the time, stop playing with yourself. This is not a game. Don't do yourself that way. You're going to sell yourself very, very short. And I wouldn't want that for you. It doesn't really matter who you are. I don't want that for you. I want something better for you. I want for you what I want for me. I want you to understand the relationship you're supposed to have with the Most High, so you can get the blessing that I get. So you can have the understanding that I have. So you can have the protection that I have. That's what I want you to have. That's all, man. That's all I want. So when you think about Molech, you got to think about what that is. And if you don't know, it's a Phoenician and Ammonite god. And the way that they worshiped him was to burn the children. They would sacrifice the children by burning them. So that is why it says, if you give your seed to Molech, because you have to burn them. You have to sacrifice them. Now, let's get into this thing. And the soul that turneth after such as have familiar spirits and after wizards, to go a whoring after them, I will even set my face against that soul, and I will cut him off from among his people. Let me tell you something, brothers. Psychics, I don't mess with them. I never have. Astrologers, the people that's all about these, let me predict your life, let me do all that. Nope, I ain't gonna do it. People who think they can affect the weather and they could do like weather dances and weather chants. Man, I don't do that with no chants. That's why I don't listen to half of the music, man. The chorus chants with the drums, all those invoke certain spirits, man. So I don't mess with it. Like, you got to protect yourself. You got to be real serious about protecting yourself out here, brothers. You have to. Because if you don't, then you'll find yourself in a circle of people where you don't belong. You'll find yourself in the worst of circumstances where you don't belong. You'll find yourself dealing with the types of things that you shouldn't be dealing with, because you should be living a better life. You'll know that. You'll know it. Sanctify yourselves, therefore, and be ye holy, for I am the Lord your God. And ye shall keep my statutes and do them. I am the Lord which sanctify you. For everyone that curseth his father or his mother shall surely be put to death. He had cursed his father or his mother, his blood shall be upon him. Don't do it. Don't do it. See, you got to think about it, man. God teaches us patience from childhood. As I got older, and not much older, when I got in my teens, I realized that some of the things that I had experienced were because of the things that the adults around me were experiencing. Yes, it was a choice to try a narcotic the first time, but after that, once I understood addiction, then I understood what that person was. I understand how that person was. I understood that person would be an addict forever. So yes, it was their choice, but if they made the choice young, by the time I got a little old, I realized, man, that it's very easy to make an unwise choice when you're young. Listen, the blessing is God letting you know he has a plan for you from your youth. That's the blessing, because it keeps you from making certain decisions. Man, there are certain decisions that I had to make in a split second. I could have went the other way, and who knows how it would have turned out. I'm not saying all of it would have been bad at that moment. I could have gone that way and probably been the birdie man, but I ain't want to. I ain't listen. I ain't want to supply the chickens. I just want to get my own. You know what I'm saying? I just want to have my own to me. I ain't want to supply the city. Nope. That was never me. So, and the man that committed adultery with another man's wife, even he that committed adultery with his neighbor's wife, the adulterer and the adulteress shall surely be put to death. That's how serious adultery is, man. That's how serious it is. And so we live in a society where you'll have a man and woman who live together. They live together, they're husband and wife. But because they don't have a piece of paper and the woman don't have a ring, she will think it's okay for her to go out and commit adultery. Or the man who she's with outside of her home, that man will say, well, that's not his wife. They just live together. The problem is that is his wife. There were wives before there was an American marriage license. There were wives before there was a British marriage license. There have been wives forever. So don't tell me that if you know for a fact, you see that man and that woman living together, that is that man's wife. What are y'all doing? That is that man's wife. If a man and a woman live together and sleep together in bed and they've got kids and all, man, that's that man's wife. Technically speaking, intimacy consecrates marriage. So at the very moment you are intimate with that woman, she becomes your wife. The problem is, if she's not a virgin, she's probably somebody else's wife already. People just walk away. People don't respect the relationships as married. Because here's the thing. I promise you, there would be less promiscuity if intimacy consecrated marriage by law, like it does in God's law. If it did that by the law of the land, I promise you, all these guys talking about, hey, man, as many as you can, they wouldn't be doing it. And if they did, they wouldn't be selling it, because guys would be like, man, no, I'm not doing that. You can't do it. Because that means every woman that you were intimate with, she would be your wife. You would have to take care of her as your wife. So the problem is we live in a society where the men are okay with, listen, even a woman, the average guy can meet a woman who has not been with another man and will still not make her his wife. Just take the prize and move on with his life and put it as a notch in his belt. Why? Because he has no morality, because he has no moral compass, because he cannot resist temptation, and probably lied to her and told her, yes, I want to marry you. But the thing is, when you think about how things look out here, then you got to understand that godlessness is the problem. The lack of godly men, the lack of knowledge of God's word, the lack of adherence to God's word is the problem. It's the problem. Someone told me, man, well, we could just start an army. Where you gonna start an army at, boy? Don't you think that's been tried before? How you gonna start an army? Tell me how you gonna do that. Yeah, it all sounds good. It all sounds good, but there's nowhere you can hide in this world, man. You can't hide nowhere big enough to start an army where you can just hide. Everything you do gonna be snuffed out until you come back to God, brother. I'm telling you, let him keep on trying. You show me a time in history where African Americans was winning wars, and you got to go all the way back to this book right here. And the man that lied with his father's wife hath uncovered his father's nakedness. Both of them shall surely be put to death. Their blood shall be upon them. So that means if you are with your father's wife, not your mother now, like your stepmom. If you are with your father's wife, it is just the same as being with your father. And we say that all the time. If you are with that man's wife, it is just the same as being with that man. But let's get back into it. And the man that lied with, all right. And if a man lie with his daughter-in-law, both of them shall surely be put to death. They have wrought confusion. Their blood shall be upon them. If a man also lie with mankind, as he lied with a woman, both of them have committed an abomination. They shall surely be put to death. Their blood shall be upon them. Not in this society. Not here. But this is why. This is the way we are supposed to live. Is everyone in the world supposed to live this way? No, just God's chosen people. And the thing is, you make a choice. whether you want to honor the statutes and commandments of the Most High, whether you want to get the blessings that God has to give. That's on you. You make those choices for yourself. And if a man take a wife and her mother, it is wickedness. They shall be burnt with fire, both he and they, that there be no wickedness among you. And if a man lie with a beast, he shall surely be put to death, and ye shall slay the beast. Now think about that. If a man take a wife and her mother, man, listen, we've seen that happen in society. I've seen it happen. I've known it to happen. Real talk. But these are the things that here in this society, men champion that, man. I got, I'm a boy. I'm a big dog, man. I'm a big dog. No, man, you're a pile of dog stuff. That's what you are. And if a woman approach unto any beast and lie down thereto, thou shalt kill the woman and the beast. They shall surely be put to death. Their blood shall be upon them. And if a man shall take his sister, his father's daughter, or his mother's daughter, and see her nakedness, and she see his nakedness, it is a wicked thing, and they shall be cut off in the sight of their people. He hath uncovered his sister's nakedness, he shall bear his iniquity. And if a man shall lie with a woman while having her sickness, and shall uncover her nakedness, he hath discovered her fountain, and she hath uncovered the fountain of her blood, and both of them shall be cut off from among their people. That only happens. And let me tell you how raw the Most High is, man. He said this, and then he said, well, hold up. That might be easier said than done, because sometimes, if I let you stay in the bed with her, I don't know, some of y'all boy are going to be a little nasty. So let me tell you what you do. When she's, later on, the law, he gave the law, if it's her time of the month, separate her. Don't sleep on there she sleep on. Don't sit on there she sit on. Anything she sit on, anything she lay on is unclean. Don't do it. So that way it keeps you from even having the temptation if you were going to have the temptation. And thou shalt not uncover the nakedness of thy mother's sister, nor of thy father's sister. For he uncovered his near kin. They shall bear iniquity. So you can't be with your auntie either, man. And if a man shall lie with his uncle's wife, he hath uncovered his uncle's nakedness. They shall bear their sin. They shall die childless. Now I want you to think about something. I want you to see how there's a distinction between mother and father's wife. There's a distinction between your mother and father's sister and your uncle's wife. You see what I'm saying? Your uncle's wife is not your aunt. That's your uncle's wife. She's no relation to you. That's just your uncle's wife. The bloodline stops at that. So she doesn't get to have a name. She doesn't get to have a auntie this or auntie that. Not for me. She don't get to have that for me. If my dad marries a woman and she has a child and it's not my dad's child, that's not my stepbrother. That ain't no brother to me. We ain't related no kind of way. So if my mama or my daddy didn't have anything to do with that kid ain't related to me. Don't be trying to press nobody. No, so a whole different bloodline on me in my life, man. I'm good. Don't put that on me, dog. Now, if her and my dad, however, then yes, hey, it's my brother too. That's my dad's son. But we live in a society where they want can't we all just get along? No, we can't. And if a man shall take his brother's wife, it is an unclean thing. He hath uncovered his brother's nakedness. They shall be childless. You shall therefore keep all my statutes and all my commandments. You shall therefore keep all my statutes and all my judgments and do them, that the land whither I bring you to dwell therein spew you not out. And you shall not walk in the manners of the nation which I cast out before you, for they committed all these things, and therefore I abhorred them. But I have said unto you, ye shall inherit their land, and I will give it unto you to possess it, a land that floweth with milk and honey. I am the Lord your God, which have separated you from other people. Now I want y'all to understand something before we continue. When you think about that, And then you hear all these guys talk about, man, we were kings and queens in Africa, and we was in the motherland, we were rich in the motherland, and all of that. No one wants to talk about how you lost it. How did you go from that to this? It's right here. Everybody wants to skip that. So when someone said, "Man, we can just start an army," well, okay. Before we got here, we had armies. Still couldn't. It didn't work. So what army you gonna start from square one right now? Man, these guys live in a fantasy world because they don't understand the reality of life is that we must realign ourselves with the Most High. This ain't about, this is about living life a certain way. This is about embracing a certain lifestyle and stop chasing the lifestyle of the people who had a 400-year head start on us in this lifestyle. We're not talking about that. Don't make no sense to me, man. You shall therefore put difference between clean beasts and unclean beasts, and between unclean fowls and clean. And you shall not make your souls abominable by beast or by fowl, or by any manner of living thing that creepeth on the ground, which I have separated from you as unclean. And you shall be holy unto me, for I the Lord am holy, and have severed you from other people, that you should be mine. A man also, or a woman that hath a familiar spirit, or that is a wizard, shall surely be put to death. They shall stone them with stones. The blood shall be upon them. That's why I tell you, men, to avoid the craft. Avoid those women, man, who practice the craft. You have to. You have to. You must, at any cost. You must avoid that. It is an abomination. It is not the way we should be living. And the most important thing is that we have to make sure that, no matter what goes on in this life, we that have aligned ourselves with the Most High, we know the blessings. We know the blessings. So I give y'all I was talking to someone, man. So I give y'all my testimony. I give y'all one. I give y'all the major one. This is the major testimony that I have for you that cannot be denied. If you hear this right now, if you're still on the fence, you will not be able to deny the power of God when I tell you this testimony. So this is back in the day, man. I think I'm maybe 20, hustling, getting it. New model car had just dropped. I was the first one in the city with it. That type of getting it. First one in the city with it. I mean, life was good. Life was good, man. You know what I'm saying? Getting plenty of money. But the thing, what I realized then? That's also the time I realized that your money has to be legit. It doesn't matter if you make, $300,000-$400,000 of dirty money. You can't do that with it. It's called dirty money for a reason. There's nothing you can do with it. You got to try to wash it. And why not just get the money that's already washed so you ain't got to be worrying about it. So, but anyway, so I'm in the car, man. I'm in the car with this chick, man, and I don't know. I don't really know, man. Maybe I don't know. I think my headspace was in different headspace, man, because it had been rumblings on the street, man, that that was this group of guys, man, that they was kind of spreading word around, man, that they were gonna try to jack me or whatever. And so I was just already in a rotten mood because in my mind, I ain't even thinking about, man, I better protect myself. I'm thinking about, man, who they think I am? They ain't got to protect me. They got to protect them. So that was my mindset, man. And so I shouldn't even picked her up, man. I shouldn't even picked her up, man. But I did. And so we about to go to this little spot, man. And so I don't even remember what she said. It was something real simple, man. But I was riding dirty, right? Had a bag in the back, on the floor in the back. So we get out, man. And so, I'm telling her, all right, well, look, you just going in there. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to drop you off here, man. You just going in there. And so she got out the car, man. She was upset, man, and she was doing a whole bunch of hooping and hollering, man. You know how women get, man, when they get upset, when they realize they done messed up, but they don't want to accept it. And so she out there hooping and hollering, man. And then I'm in the hood too, so I mean, she had a degree, but she was a hood chick with a degree. So the hood came out of her a little bit, man, and she was just keeping up a whole bunch of noise. It was nighttime. We was out there when white folk lived. All of a sudden, man, a car whoop up. Whoop whoop. Is everything all right? And man, she said something. I can't remember what she said. She made up something, man. pulled me out the car, man. So, um, as a matter of fact, they ain't pulled me out the car. I got out the car, and because I actually this okay, I remember. All right. So where we were eating at, I had told the dude to come meet me out there in the parking lot. So I was about to serve this dude in the parking lot, right? Because I was wondering why I'm riding with her riding dirty. I couldn't remember, but I'm riding dirty because I'm about to serve a dude in the parking lot. So I'm out the car, got the bag on my on my shoulder, and like a duffel bag, little small duffel bag on my shoulder, and so when the cop pulled up, I just kind of backed up a little bit. There was a newspaper stand right there, so I just chunked the bag over there by the newspaper stand. So I go back over there. I'm talking to the cop. I'm like, man, I don't know what she's talking about, man. I'm chilling. I was super clean, man. I was suited and booted, man. I was, I had on gaiters, man. I had silk, man. Um, I had just went to Riri in the projects, man, and she took my braids down, man. So I had my hair riding like Superfly, man, hanging on my shoulder. We talking about a young cat there about 20, 21, right? So I'm out there. Man, the way he looked at me, I knew he wished he could get me. Man, all of a sudden, one of them little trolley buggy things is almost like a scooter with a cover over it. Man, he just pulled up out of nowhere. I'm all the way on the other side of town. Here's a cop that worked my side of town, be seeing me every day. When a cop work your side of town, they already know everything. If you out there and you're doing dirt, believe me, the cops know everything. So, man, he rolled right up. I didn't even know what he was doing over there, but I wasn't worried about it. Man, he got right out, walked over there where I threw that bag at. Like he was sitting over there just watching the whole thing. He walked right over there, man. Man, he picked that bag up. And the other cop said, the cop who showed up first, he said, man, you know what? I thought I saw him throw a bag over there. Then I was like, oh, maybe he did. But the other cop didn't see it. So, man, he opened the bag. He said, oh, yeah, we got you on it. I ain't saying that. I was like, man, I don't know what you're talking about, man. You can't just pick up no bag and try to put it on me. So man, put me back in the car. My car out there, my car running the whole time. So I'm out there, man. Brand new whip. I'm out there in the back of the car, man. I'm just in there. So he called the chief narcotic detective. Now they had already tried to jam me up once, but they had my phone tapped. I got lazy though, man. I got lazy. They had the phone tapped, and I had called my plug. So then my partner pulled up, who he wasn't in the game no more, but he still had the D-boy whip. So when he pulled up, they thought he was the plug. They watched until he pulled up. They thought he was the plug. Kicked the door in. Kicked the door in, man. Like, fortunately for me at that point, I waited. Like, I wasn't somebody who would, be like, okay, when I get close to running out, when I get close to being out, I'm going to just go ahead and re-up. I wasn't like that, because then I had to sit down. I had to, make sure all the money was there. I had to make sure everything was situated. So it would take me a couple of days. But anyway, make a long story short, they didn't get me then. But man, they had scales in there. We had a big old machete that we were chopping it with. Then we had little bitty, like a little bitty knife. Then we had like little bitty knives. Then like butcher knives out the kitchen. Then we had razor blades, and we had all type of baggies and all that, man. And man, I'm talking about, man, listen, so much paraphernalia, boy, that I was still looking at a little bit of time, if I ain't working out with my lawyer. But they didn't catch me how they wanted to. So this chief narcotic detective, man, he was itching for me, boy. They told him who I was. He said, "Oh man, we've been looking for him. What you got him with?" I don't know what they is, but we got him with 9 blocks. They kind of big though. They're pretty big pieces. I don't know what they are. He asked me what they are. I said, man, I don't know what that is, man. What you asking me about? I told y'all that ain't my bag. So I wasn't finna tell him, okay, that's mine. I said, man, that ain't even my bag. I don't know what's in it. And man, chief narcotic detective said, "Oh yeah, man, we've been waiting him. That you done well, officer. We've been waiting to get him." I just started praying in the back seat. I'm talking about beseeching God out loud. I'm talking about, listen, man, I sound like the pastor in the church. I was in the back seat going so hand, I just forgot where I was, man. I'm talking about, I was back there. I was calling God, beseeching God in the back seat, man. I'm like, God, listen, man, blah, blah, blah. I don't even know what I was saying. I was coming from the heart, dog. I sat back there, man. I went on for about 5 minutes. It felt like about 5 minutes. Then slowly, you get to that point where you do it, and then you just start calming down so you can hear God talking to you. When you get that riled up in the spirit, man, God start calming you down. You be like, okay, my son, that's enough. I get it. So he start calming you down, man. Then I start hearing them talking again, and I heard the cop say, all right, so you want me to book him? Y'all, he said, you want me to book him, or y'all gonna come get him? All of a sudden, man, chief narcotic detective said, let him go. Just like that. That cop, his eyes got big back there, man. Cop eyes got big. And he said, man, he heard you. I can't believe it. He heard you, man. God heard you. He said, bro, I cannot believe this. He said, man, I've never experienced anything like this in my life, man. Man, he heard you. He just kept repeating, he heard you, man. Man, he heard you. He heard you, man. He heard you. And by the time, the people it took so long that everybody who was outside crowding around, they had already gone on inside. Even the chick, she went on inside, man. To this day, man, she think I got jammed up that day, man. By the time they came back out, man, the cop had let me go, man. I hopped in my brand new whip, man, and then went to the other side of town, went to the west side, man, and fell through on another chick. And I just stayed over there for a few days, man. Licking my wounds, boy, cause that was finna be the one right there, boy. If they had jammed me up right then, boy, that was mandatory 5 years. It was 5 year minimum. The trafficking sentence was mandatory 5 year minimum. I don't care how much you pay your lawyer, you finna get them 5 years. So for me, man, that was the point where I say, man, you know what? I will never even doubt nothing about God anymore, man. I can't do it. I can't do it, man. He showed up and showed out then. And I've been asking people all my life, okay, if it wasn't God, you tell me what it was then. It ain't like I was sitting threatening the cop. I'm back there praying. I prayed my way out of something. I done beseeched God so much that he said, I'm going to look out for you, you fool. So if it ain't God, somebody put in the chat and tell me what it is. You know what? Let me open up this chat for a minute. I'm gonna let the non-members in just for a moment. So I want everybody to be able to tell me. If that wasn't God, you tell me what it was. And don't tell me, man, it was science and I don't know, man, it was just the weather was just right. Or you just got lucky. Boy, ain't no such thing as luck as no black man in the back of no police car, man, doing Reagan's war on drugs, man. It ain't no such thing as lucking your way out of the back of a car, man. They got you jammed up like that. So somebody tell me what it was. Couldn't have been nothing but like the homie said, couldn't have been nothing but God's mercy, man. That's all it was. It was God showing mercy to a foolish man. It was God showing mercy to a man that he said, okay, you a fool, but I got plans for you. Don't make this mistake again. And you know what? Boy, that was it for me. I was done. I quit cold turkey, bro. When I say I quit cold turkey, I quit. Listen, I quit like a. I quit like I went to prison. I quit like they took me in. Boy, I was done. Got out of that brand new whip. Got me a '69 Ford pickup truck that was rebuilt. Didn't even put no paint on it. It was primer gray. Primer gray, black smoke out window, black shoes, black grill, black bumper. I rode that boy just like that. I ain't worried about nothing. I was like, man, listen here. My time as a D boy is done. You know what I'm saying? I'm done, bruh. I'm out. Don't even worry about it. Man, you just gonna get it up. Hey, look here, bruh. Let me tell you something. Take all these you. Look, them people over there, look, hook yo this person, I'm good. Now, I did go ahead and pass it on. I ain't just leave out. I went on to pass it on because I realized that, these brother was still in the grind. They were still in the struggle out there, man. So I went on and passed it on. But boy, let me tell you something. Man, boy, I felt like the cop did. Like I was praying, but you know what? But I wasn't even praying to get out of it as much as I was praying for forgiveness. For just all of a sudden, I just started looking at the way I was living my life, man. And I was like, man, what am I doing, bro? Because there was the transition. There was after. This was like maybe, man, like 3 weeks after my partner had showed me, man, where we weren't supposed to eat pork. It was like 3 weeks after that. You know what I'm saying? And I was still holding out. God had already told me, man, open this book. Open this word, boy. Get into this word. What you're doing. Open and apply it to your life. I had too much going on, man. You know what I'm saying? I was reading a little bit, but you got to think about it. It ain't that I wasn't applying it, but it ain't nothing to apply in Genesis. Genesis is just the story. So if I'm reading, maybe 3 or 4 chapters a day, then, I still hadn't got to where I need to start making adjustments yet. You know what I'm saying? Because you get to Numbers. Numbers is where, Numbers is after Exodus. So we talking about Numbers. By the time I get to Numbers where you take the vow to Nazarite, this was a couple of months later. So Man, that's how it happened, man. And that was my testimony, bro. But man, when that man said, let him go, the crazy thing is, I wasn't shocked that he said it because I felt in my spirit, like I felt a connection to God at that point. Like that was my connection point where I felt like, man, God is in me. Like that's my connection point. And so I just, it's almost like I knew it was going to happen. And listen, man, the excitement in the chief narcotic detective voice, man. You're like, oh yeah, boy, woo, boy, we've been waiting on him. Woo, that's a good one. That's a good one. He's been, boy, it was like I've been a thorn in his side or something, man. And when he said, man, he said it in the softest voice I've ever heard from a cop. Let him go. It's almost like he was beseeching the cop. It's like he almost wanted to say, please let him go. That's what God put on his heart, man. And I said, boy, woo, I don't care what nobody say. I don't care what nobody say. I know God. I don't believe in him. I know him. I've met him. I've seen him work in my life. I have seen him show up and do something that only he could do. Pull off something that only he could pull off. Deliver me from something that only he could deliver me from. So ain't no doubt in me when it comes to the Most High, brother. Ain't no doubt in me at all. Not a bit of doubt. Not because I believe in him, but because I know him. I know him. Zion, appreciate the 5 euro, man. Been trying to overcome watching P for years. How can I stop? They gonna sound crazy, man. It's gonna sound crazy. But well, the second part gonna sound crazy. I would suggest, man, you take the vow of Nazarite. Take the vow of Nazarite. You find in the book of Numbers. Take it, man. It will it'll change your life. And otherwise, man, just stop. Let me tell y'all something, man, and it's real. God, man, God don't play that I don't know how to stop doing something. He don't play that. He don't play that I don't know how to stop doing something. He just don't play it. Because if you beseech him for the strength, he'll give you the strength to overcome whatever you need to overcome. And I ain't saying he gonna make it easy. I ain't saying that, because he give you strength to overcome it, you're just gonna be like, hey man, I don't even think about that no more. No, man, you gotta just do something else. I say this, man. I would say this. If you got this, if you're dealing with the temptation of watching Pete, which you know is gonna probably lead to you losing some testosterone, doing what comes with that. Work out. Treat yourself like a drill sergeant. Drop and give me 50. Drop and give me 50. And I'm gonna be honest with you. If you can't do 50 push-ups straight, then you're too weak to be watching P anyway. You're too weak. You ain't strong. You weak, you soft. Think about how much you don't want to be weak, how much you don't want to be soft, how much you don't want to be lame, how much you don't want to be a pushover, how strong you want to be, how masculine you want to be. You got to think about it. That's what you're doing. So don't look at it as watching P. Look at it as losing your manhood. Look at it as losing your masculinity. Cause boy, and don't not just that, look at it as destroying your health. Boy, when you lose all that testosterone, boy, you lose all kind of minerals, man. All type, man, from your brain, from your spine, from man, all type of things go out of you. You got to think about this. I want y'all to think about this. Think about what happens when you impregnate your wife. Your life force takes a clump of mass, a clump of cells, and gives it everything it needs to grow into a human. That means that spinal cord, that brain, those eyes, those lungs, that heart, that spleen, that liver, those kidneys, those limbs, those blood vessels, that bone, all of that comes from your seed. Like it is for real. You know what you're doing? You are giving your children unto Molech. So we got to stop thinking about it from the surface level and think about it from the internal level, what are you losing when you give up your seed? What are you doing? You're losing a part of yourself that's so powerful, it can make another you. How willing are you to just take a, would you do that to your child? You say you wouldn't, but that's what you're doing. So I say, man, take the vow to Nazarite. Jump into the vow to Nazarite. Separate yourself to the ways of God. First of all, try to see why you're addicted to watching P. Figure out what it is within you that makes you addicted to it. Because honestly, it's really just weakness. You know, any addiction is weakness. And you got to find out what the source of that weakness is. And I say the first place to start is to take the vow to Nazarite. Take the vow to Nazarite, separate yourself to the ways of God. That'll put you where you need to be. It will put you where you need to be. So what you do is Numbers chapter 6. You go to Numbers chapter 6, and it'll tell you how to take the vow to Nazarite. Now, what you do when you do that, you apply yourself to the word of God. Just live every day as a godly man. What's going on? What are your, how easy is it for you to access? Like I tell people all the time, do you know that at casinos, you can tell them, if you have a gambling problem, you can tell them to not let you in there anymore. And if you sign that paperwork, you can't change it. They ain't gonna let you in no more. You are admitting that you have a gambling problem. And by law, when you let them know that and you say you need them to help you, they have to help you. And the thing is, you got to do whatever you got to do that. And here's the problem. A lot of times, man, you hear guys, and this is going to sound funny to some of y'all, man, but a lot of times, man, you're at such a low level in your life. Man, listen, if you don't have anything, you got to understand that your choices are different from a man who practically has everything. No man has everything, but if you have $5, then your life is much different from a man who has $500,000. It's just different. If that man wants a steak, he can go get a steak. You need to be trying to figure out how many packs of ramen noodles you can get, and then still have enough money left over to get, some Crystal Light to squeeze in your water. Like, you got to be thinking along those lines. And it's the same thing when it comes to relationships. Many of you men don't need to be saying, I'm not going to be in a relationship with a single mom. Many of you men, that is exactly what you need. Many of you men didn't have access to a mother who would love on you. So you need a woman who's in the nurturing business. And a lot of times a single mom is in the nurturing business. So you can't just say, okay, we're all going to do this. No, we're here in this society because we're cursed. So we don't get to have a perfect outcome until we build our bond with God and dedicate ourselves to living by the statutes and commandments of God. When you dedicate yourself to living a life that's pleasing to God, then you get to have some of those qualities and some of that perfection that evades us throughout our lives. But coming into this world, man, especially, let's say you're coming into an impoverished situation, man, you're shooting bad. You're shooting bad. You're not starting from the level 10. You're starting from level -5. You're going to have to make some sacrifices to get back to 0. So not every man can say, no, man, I ain't dating no single mom, man. Hey, sometime, man, that single mom, boy, she put in your life, that's the level of help meet you can sustain at that point. So we have to keep in mind that this whole thing about do it the perfect way, no, brother, perfect what way? Look at the history of our people in this country. What perfect way? When it has ever been a perfect way? You got to build your perfection by applying these statutes and commandments to your life and proving yourself to God, proving yourself that you can resist some temptation. And I promise you, brother, if you're addicted to watching P, I promise you, you pull out of that thing, boy, God is going to bless you so much, man. Let me tell you something. If you got to throw your devices away, boy, you better go get you a flip phone. Go get you a flip phone where you can't even look at the internet on your phone. Look at the internet when you at work. That'll also keep you off social media all the time. It'll clear some space up in your life for you to improve your life. Man, I say that, but let me tell you something. If you're addicted to watching P, you better get rid of all your devices. I downgrade every device I got. I wouldn't have no tablet, so no MacBook, no Android tablet, none of that. I wouldn't have none of that. Unless you unless you work a job or have a business where you need your computer, man, I wouldn't even have a laptop. Honestly, if I didn't do something that needed access to the internet, and like I'm a content creator, I got to be online. Man, if I was doing something else that didn't require that, I wouldn't even have a laptop. I wouldn't have it. So you got to think about how you can, man, maybe you need to move somewhere. You got somewhere you can go? You got another spot you've been thinking of moving? I tell people that too, man, because I'm in the South, man. There's a bunch of people, man. I'm talking about, man, every weekend, man. They be in no casinos, man. I'm telling you, boy, people be coming from miles around, man. Them places be packed on the weekend. I'm talking about, you see people flooding into the city, man. They be in there, and you think about it, man. You be like, man, maybe some of those people need to move further away. So you got to, every adjustment you can make in your life to overcome the thing that you need to overcome, you better make those adjustments. Don't make it easy for yourself to go against God. Make it hard for yourself. So that way you got to make a conscious decision to go against the Most High. And then if you make that conscious decision, then you don't deserve no blessing no way. If it ain't easy for you and you still do it, then you chose your side. But yes, man, hey, listen, man, we all have our vices. We all have our vices, man. And if that's your vice, that's all it is, brother. Don't get down on yourself or feel bad about it, but just know that you got to put in the work to overcome it. And see, what happens is, doing that thing over and over and over again, it keeps robbing you of your testosterone, so your strength is gone. Your strength is gone. And not just we think about physical strength because we got all these knuckleheads talking about work out, build muscles, do whatever you need to. Come on, bro. We talking about every part of your body is affected by that. Every part of your being, spiritually, mentally, emotionally, physically, and financially for that matter. Because if you're affected in all those other ways, your money going down too. So I would say that. I would say the main thing, that's anybody, man. If you're dealing with something and and you're having a hard time overcoming it, you got to separate yourself. You got to separate yourself as best you can, man. You have to. Maybe your quality of life got to go down and everything, man. But you got to separate yourself. Maybe you got a grandma that live way down in the country. You better go live with your grandma for a while. You better go live with your grandma down there where you can't get no internet access. You know what I'm saying? You better go down there, man, get you a regular job. Because here's the thing, no matter what career you got, no matter what job you got, no matter what nothing you got, all that is worth sacrificing to bring yourself closer to the Most High so you could be the man you're supposed to be. So you won't need to rely on those things to make you feel like the man you're supposed to be as much as you do. And that's real, man. What we got here? Logic before emotion. Salute, man. Appreciate the dime. They say God works mystery. My brother, I thank God for using you to reach the masses. Hell up and salute. Salute to you, brother. I appreciate it, man. I appreciate it. Yeah, man. What man can know the ways of God, man? What man can know the ways of God? CAB, salute to you, man. Salute. CAB says, I pray God would deliver me from my D-boy way. Fell on my face, crying for his help. 2 weeks later, I was locked up. Sometimes the help don't come like you imagine, but all things work together. And you know what? Sometimes it doesn't, man. Sometimes it doesn't. But it always comes. It's always the help. Because God ain't gonna give us what he want, man. He gonna give us what we need. He gonna give us what we need. And here's the thing, bruh. I mean, he gave you what you asked for. But he gave it to you in the way that he knew would be effective for you. Then what y'all gotta understand about the Most High, man. When you ask God for something, he gonna give it to you in a way that's gonna work. So be careful. When you ask him for something, you better accept the fact that he knows what's gonna work best. And that's what it is. So there's some other things, man, that I've there's some other things that I've had to learn that didn't go like that. But salute to you, brother. Hey, man. Hey, listen. Glad you went in there, man, and got on out of there, man. You back out here, amongst the land of the living, man, doing your thing, brother, doing your thing. And I know you ain't going back because you know you ain't going back. So salute to you, man. Salute. All right, let's get ready to head on out of here, man. We're going to get ready to slide on out of here, man, because I got a BOA show set up for 6, man. And it's already 5 after 5, man. So let me go ahead and get ready to slide out, man, and try to get my throat a rest, get my vocals a rest, man, before we go back in that thing, man. So salute to you, man. I appreciate y'all, man. I appreciate you. That's a good message right there, man. Prayer without ceasing. Review your day and repent for matters of the heart that you suspect were not pleasing in God's sight during your nightly prayer. Do it, man. Do it. And also in the morning, man, for the things that may have come across your mind and you can't remember them from sleep, brother. Protect me from myself. So let's get ready to head on out of here, man. I appreciate everybody being in the joint. Hey, man, y'all put God first. Keep grinding and growing, and always knowing that if you keep doing, God gonna keep showing. Let's head on out of here. Peace.